let's review what we've already done. So I want to graph 2x plus y minus 5 equals 0. What do you think? Can I graph that? Not like that, I can't. What form do I need it in? I needed it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, correct?
Yeah.
So, remember when we solved for y? What was that, last week we finished doing that? So we know how to solve for y to put it into slope-intercept form. So let's do that. In order to solve for y, what would I do here? I could add 5 to both sides. I've got to move this over there, and I've got to move that 2x. How would I move the 2x? Subtract 2x from both sides. I'm going to add the 5 over here because I want it to be in this form. I want my constant on the right, and I want my x and my slope on the left. I'm going to put negative 2x right here. See how I did that? I put that place there and that one in its place there. So let's finish this up. This goes away. This goes away. And I'm left with y equals 0 plus 5 is just 5 and 2x. It is negative 2x. Thank you. Negative 2x plus 5. Now we could graph that, correct? All right, students will be able to graph a linear equation. Students will be able to explain the steps for writing an equation in slope-intercept form. That's what we're doing today. So, here's our big idea. Here's the one we just solved. 2x plus y minus 5 equals 0. Yes, I am recording. Thank you for reminding me. So, I put it into slope-intercept form, which is y equals negative 2x plus 5. So I begin with 5, which is translated up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my y-axis, and I'm going to move negative 2 over 1. I'm going to move up 2 and to the left 1. Up 2 and to the left 1. So this is what we're doing today, guys, which I'm pretty confident that you're going to do pretty well because out of all the things that were on the quiz, this is what you guys did really, really well. All right, so pencils down. Watch me do it first. So I'm going to write in slope-intercept form. Then I'm going to circle the slope and box the y-intercept. Is this in slope-intercept form? No. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So, what's wrong with this?
It's the opposite. Y equals b.
Good, it's the opposite, right? I need my slope in front and my y-intercept behind it. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. What property tells me that I can switch those two? Commutative property. Good. All right, let's do this one now. Oh, first we need to circle. So I need to circle my slope. Here's my slope. There was one misconception. Is x part of my slope? No. X isn't part of my slope. My slope is how x is affected, right? So all I need is that negative 1/2. And then my y-intercept is positive 2. All right, so what should I do with this one? Jesse, are these in the right order?
No.
No, so what should I do with them? Couldn't I just move them, switch places? What property again tells me I can switch places? I can commute the x, right, in front of the negative y. Can't I? There we go. So I get y equals, if positive x is right here, it's still positive x. And if negative 9 gets moved over here, it's still negative 9. Right? Is that equivalent to this? Yes. Okay. Who wants to try this one for me? Y equals what? Okay, I'm not getting enough people engaged, so we do need to get our whiteboards out. So get your whiteboard out and show me y equals mx plus b with this one, please. Okay, so most of you realize that I've got to take my slope needs to be in front, and my y-intercept needs to be in back. Try this next one for me. So you guys are doing a good job at this. So when these two switch, you get y equals 5/4 x minus 3. All right, let's move on. This one not only is 5x in the wrong place, it's on the wrong side. How am I going to move negative 5x? I'm going to add 5x to both sides. So when I add 5x to both sides, I get y equals 5x plus 6, where my slope is 5 and my y-intercept, oops, it didn't change color, is positive 6. Let's do one that's a little bit harder. My turn, guys. It's pencils down. I should have everybody's attention. So this time I need to move 2x to both sides. So this goes away, and I have negative 4y equals negative 2x plus 8. Now what should I do? No. What's happening with y and negative 4? They're being multiplied. So how would I undo multiplication? Divide by negative 4. Everybody gets divided by negative 4. The only way you can do it is if you give it to everybody. So I'm left with y equals 1 half x. What's 8 divided by negative 4? Negative 2. Good job. I want you guys to show me this one up here, please. Okay, so some of you had an issue with this. This is 2 x's, right? Jesse, look at this. This is 2 x's right here. Plus a y equals 7. If I want to move 2 x's on this side, how could I move those 2 x's? How do you move 2 x's? I'm going to subtract 2 x's. I'm going to subtract 2 x's. Do you see why I'm doing this? When I subtract 2 x's, those go away, and I'm left with y equals, how many negative x's do I have on this side? I have 2 negative x's. That's the reason, Aaron, looking up here. That's the reason why I can't add 7 and 2, right? Because 7 is a number and 2 x's is 2 x's. You see the difference, Jesse? So I saw some of you trying to do this. 7 minus 2x equals 5x, right? See how you can't add the two of those? Because this is a number and these are x's. That's why I wrote my x's out like that. So let's try again. Try it again. Let's do this one. Okay, so this one was a struggle, right? So what do I do first? This is what I'm trying to find right here. So what was the last thing that happened? Let's talk about the y story here. So y was multiplied by 3, then a negative was applied, and then an x was added. What's the last thing I talked about? The x was added. So how do I undo that? Do the inverse, subtract x. When I subtract x from both sides, I get negative 3y equals, I'm going to put that x in front, right, so I can start getting it in slope-intercept form. So negative x plus 3. So now y is being multiplied by negative 3, so how do I undo that? Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. These go away, and I'm left with y equals negative over negative is a positive. Only I've got a 1 out in front of here, correct? So couldn't I write it 1/3 and put the x on the side? And that's slope-intercept form, right? And a positive 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. So that's what you should have. Question? So if you made a mistake, did you catch your mistake? Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to let's keep our pencils down first. You're going to copy this down onto your worksheet, so don't worry about it, okay? So just eyes up here. So, solve for y. I've already solved for y. It's right there in front of me. Identify my slope. My slope is negative 1/4. So I write negative 1/4. I'm going to go up 1, right? And I'm going to go to the left 4 because this is a negative slope. So I'm going to go in the negative direction on my x-axis. My y-intercept is positive 3. Okay, so I've got everything identified. Now I'm going to graph. We begin at B. B stands for begin. So I'm going to start at, translate up 3, and then I'm going to move up 1 and to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1 and to the left 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1 and to the left 1, 2, 3, 4. Why do I keep going like that? Just trying to make a more accurate line. Right? If I only have this, my line might not be as straight. So the more points you have, the more accurate your line is going to be. Okay, questions on that? All right, let's get you guys to copy this down. So let's do this one together. So I'm going to start by solving for y. Oh, well, it's already solved for y and put in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to identify my slope. My slope is 1/2. And my y-intercept is negative 3. Am I going to go to the right or to the left? Michael, am I going to go to the right or to the left after I go up 1? To the right. Why? Because it's positive. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to begin at negative 3. I'm going to shift down 1, 2, 3. Translated 3 units down on the y-axis, and then I'm going to move up 1, and like Michael said, to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2. Until you feel comfortable that you've created a pretty accurate line. Questions? Good, let's move on. All right, stop this one. Pencils down, pay attention. I'm going to circle my slope. My slope is negative 2. I'm going to write negative 2 over 1. So this time I'm going to move Michael to the left. Which way am I going to move this time? Up and then to the left or the right? Left, good. We're going to go to the left because I have a negative slope. And my y-intercept is what, Frankie? My y-intercept? What is it? 0. Good job. There is no y-intercept there, right? That means I must have to fill that in with a 0. All right, so I'm going to begin at my origin. And I'm going to move up 2, and like Michael said, to the left 1. Up 2 and to the left 1. Up 2 and to the left 1. Go ahead and graph that, guys. You guys try this one. Remember to identify your slope and identify your y-intercept. So on this one, what did you guys identify for a slope?
0.
0. If we have y equals mx plus b, we have 0 as a place marker for our slope. So now let's identify our slope. It's right there. It's 0. And my y-intercept is positive 4. So I'm going to begin where, Aaron? Where am I going to begin? I'm going to begin at my B. So what do I have for B? 4. So we're going to shift up or translate up 1, 2, 3, 4. And where am I going to move? Andrew, where am I going to move? I can't go up, right, because it's 0. So all I can do is move at 4. Because really, isn't this 0 over 1? So I'm not going to go up or down, right, but I'm going to go to the left 1, or I could go to the right. It's a horizontal line. Horizontal line at 4. Questions on that? Okay, pencils down again. Let's shift back to what we were doing before. Let's solve for y. Jesse, how would I solve for y? What's my first step?
X, both sides.
Excellent. Add x to both sides. When I add x to both sides, Jesse, what am I left with? Let's write it right here. When this goes away, what are you left with?
3y. 6.
Not just 6. What else do I have there? Not 6x. This is 6's. That's 6 1's, and this is an x. Right? So what would I start with? If I want to put this in y equals slope-intercept form. X plus 6. Excellent. Now what do I do? Keep going. How do I get rid of that 3? Divide everybody by 3. Just like we did on the whiteboards, right? So y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Let's identify our slope. You guys can do it from here. 1/3. And my y-intercept is positive 2. So I'm going to begin at 2. And I'm going to move up 1 and to the right 3. If I did that right. 1, 1, 2, 3. Up 1, over 3. Up 1, over 3. Does that look right? Can anybody tell me why I can look at my line and say, yep, that looks right? Because why? Because of how steep it is. Excellent, Brenda. It's 1/3 of a parent graph, right? Okay, let's continue. Any questions on this one? What, Frankie? No, ma'am. Okay. Try this one on your own. Okay, Lauren, how would I start this? Just 5? 5 x's. Good. So I'm going to add 5 x's to both sides. I'm going to shift this over now. Okay? So this goes away, and what am I left with? Excellent. What do I do next? Divide everybody by 2. Good job. Bless you. And I'm left with y equals 5 halves x minus what? 6. So let's see. How about Joshua? Joshua, what is my slope? U. Good job. 5 over 2. And Celeste, what is my y-intercept? -6. How about Gilbert? Where am I going to begin? -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Andrew Partita, where am I going to move? Where am I going to move? I started at -6. Where am I going to move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And which direction am I going to go to? To the right. The positive slope. Questions on that one? No? All right, what did you guys learn today? Slope-intercept form. What is slope-intercept form? Excellent, Philip. Y equals mx plus b. The person next to you is absent. Why is everybody putting stuff away? We don't have 3 minutes. We have 15 minutes. Nobody should be putting anything away. The person next to you is absent. How would you explain where to start on a graph? How about Smisi? How would you explain where to start on a graph? That's a y-intercept. Good. On your assignment sheet, which line is steeper? And explain. Solve for y and explain to me which one is steeper. Good job today, guys.